The adventure continues this week on Ford Outfitters.
Man, that twitch is awesome. Uh-oh, you got a big one. Oh, look at that. Oh, did you see that? Oh, this is a great fish, dude. Look at this guy.
Nice. Another double. Got him. Good job. Nice bow.
Fred Eichler has taken all 29 species recognized by Pope & Young with a recurve bow. Conway Bowman cracked the code for Mako sharks on the fly. The outdoors has led them to adventures around the world. Now, two of North America's most accomplished sportsmen and their Ford trucks are on a mission to learn the secrets and stories of America's best outfitters. This is The Outfitters, built by Ford F-Series.
I'm in South Central Oregon driving to the Yamsi Ranch, which is on the banks of the Williamson River. I'll be meeting John Hyde, whose family has owned the Yamsi Ranch since 1911. The Yamsi Ranch is a working cattle ranch, but it's also a great fly fishery for rainbow and brook trout, and it has some of the best dry fly fishing anywhere in the lower 48. So it's going to be really interesting to see how both those operations work together. This is going to be really a great trip.
Located well off Oregon's busy Highway 97, the 5,000-acre Yamsi Ranch isn't really close to anywhere. Solitude is a big part of the charm, and guests might as well leave their cell phones at home. The Hyde family has been attached to this property since 1911, when John's great-uncle Buck purchased the Yamsi Ranch solely as a cattle operation. While beef production remains a big part of the heritage, the family is diversified, and there's never a dull day on the Yamsi.
I really like the fishing and the guiding. I like riding and moving the cattle and working with the horses. I could not live in the city and do a 9-to-5 job. It just drives me nuts. I much prefer this, being outside, doing something a little different all the time.
At the headwaters, the Williamson River originates as a mere trickle seeping from the aquifer.
In 7 miles of property, we have 12.5 miles of river. So it does a lot of slow meanders through the meadow, and there's not a lot of gradient change. So we don't have rapids. The bottom's all pretty much sandy. We get a lot of hatches. Really like that habitat.
So John Hyde, he's a legend in fly fishing, but not one of those sort of in-your-face legends. You know, in certain circles, he's definitely one of those guys that really is held in high regard, specifically fishing the Williamson and dry fly fishing. So John, you can adjust your seat, and once you've adjusted, you can press one of the numbers on the door panel, and now the truck will know you. So that'll be your setting for the rest of the week.
Okay, we got it.
So day one, John had a plan to fish the middle section of the ranch. Very slow moving water, and the game plan was this: try to get the dry fly fishing right off the bat. He was confident because we had some cloud cover, and this specific area in the ranch hadn't really been worked over by a lot of fishermen, which is great about Yamsi. It's limited in terms of how many anglers can fish it. The target species were going to be #1 brook trout, #2 rainbow trout. But when we're talking about brook trout, we're not just talking about small brook trout. We're talking about brook trout that are over 10 inches. And the brook trout fishing that I've done, a big brook trout is 8 inches, so I was really, really stoked to catch a really big brook trout. Oh, there he is, got him. I made one cast. Okay.
Nice brookie.
And I had a fish. So I was surprised I lose the fish. So when you lose the first fish, that's a curse. That's not good.
You waste a lot of good fishing time if you got to land them. So.
I know, man, you aren't kidding. That started, I think, there he is, 3 or 4 fish that I lost. Wow. Out of 3 or 4 casts. It was unbelievable.
Maybe we don't need the net.
Oh, that was a nice one. Darn. The fishing was immediate, and honestly, that doesn't happen in dry fly fishing very often. So those are all brookies?
There should be some good rainbow in there too.
Oh, okay, wait a second.
Check your fly. The biggest brookie I've seen out of here is 24 inches.
So that is a massive fish.
About 8 pounds.
But I haven't even got to the spot where the big fish are, right? Because they're over here under this log.
Yeah, they're right there in the end of it.
Finally, I think it was probably maybe the 10th cast, I got a fish to hand. Get in the net.
In the net. Skunk's off.
Oh yeah. And right at that moment I went, okay, I've got a fish to hand and now we can really get serious.
They're beautiful little fish.
They are. I think they're one of the most beautiful. So they're not really a trout, right?
They're a char.
Char, yeah. You know, and I was nervous. Okay, so we're on the board. Once I got that first fish, I mean, I was feeling good. Oh, one swiped at it.
Got him. That's a good one.
Oh, that's a good, look at this brookie. Oh my gosh, look at that thing.
Stay with them.
Can I? Oh yeah, baby, look at that. Oh my.
Watch he doesn't get you under that log.
Holy smokes, that's a huge brookie. Hit the net. So after John and I fished that first spot, and it was great fishing. Okay, so that's the biggest brookie I've ever caught. Look at that thing. Look at that. My goodness.
Pretty fish.
Wow. I was really, really excited to hit that next spot because who knows what could have happened.
Coming up, dry fly fishing at its best on the Williamson River.
John's got him cornered down here. Woo-wee. Oh my gosh, look at that.
The Outfitters is brought to you by the Ford F-150, the future of tough. John and Conway are working their way down Oregon's Williamson River. As the stream increases in size and volume, so do the fish.
Should do it. Start short because they'll be 5 foot off the bank right there.
Quarter down.
Yeah, or just straight across, and you can cast upstream a little bit with that dry. Give it that twitch. You're gonna find a fish bigger than your brookie.
Oh, look at that. Oh, did you see that? That was a great take.
Double. I got 2 fish.
I came tight and I look over
One came off.
and John's tight to a fish. And right then I went, you know what? This is gonna be a really, really good day and a really, really good 3 or 4 days of fishing. That take was great. He just rocketed right out of the water. John, that's some good action, man. That is great. The fly is this, it's almost like a parachute Adams. You got another one, John?
Another one. Can't keep them off.
Oh, look at that.
Nice. Another double.
Like I said, the biggest challenge is getting them through the grass. Oh, look at this one. Oh my gosh.
Nice bow.
Dude, look at this brookie. Look at the colors on this thing.
Okay, we have both the brookies, rainbows, so red bands in this system. The brookies were put in the 30s. Somebody put a few in and they become a wild fish now. Nice. The red bands are a completely native fish.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Never had any influence from a hatchery,
Oh, brother.
which is very unique. Nice fish.
Ho, 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 come here. Look, this is a brookie. Oh my gosh. This is bigger than the first one. Come here, you. Oh.
Nice brookie. Good job. We get some of the biggest brookies that I've ever heard of out of a stream situation up here.
Wow. That was incredible. Once again, kind of jiggling that fly and he just nailed it.
24 inches is the biggest brookie I've seen, which is huge brookie.
You got another one?
A lot of brookies average from 10 to 15 inches.
Oh, look at that take. Yeah. That's a nice fish.
Pretty fish.
Wow, look at that.
The rainbows will get up, the biggest one I've seen is 31.5 inches. Person has a good chance of catching a 20+ inch rainbow up here.
Woo!
Oh, nice.
Look at this guy.
Rainbow.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, look at this.
A lot of fish, like any fishery, you need your young fish, so there's a lot of fish in the 8, 10, 12, 15 inch range.
That's a good one. Oh, no. John and I had multiple doubles.
Nice rainbow.
Oh, nice. And I remember one, he had a really beautiful rainbow.
Got him. Good job.
We had tremendous dry fly fishing, and it was almost catching these fish at will, every cast.
Nice bow.
That's a great
Thank
fish.
you.
It was really it was a great moment.
There we go. Look how fat he is.
Good stuff, man. That was great.
There he goes.
Ooh, that is a beautiful fish.
This is really nice hole in the evening.
I bet. It's a really nice hole right now.
Yeah.
So after our first morning of fishing, things kind of died down. You know, the hatches kind of flattened out. And I found that was a great opportunity to get a look at the ranch. And John said, well, shoot, I'll take you to the ultimate lookout to look at the ranch.
So this is the new 2015 F-150.
Yeah, and the great thing about it is it's made out of aluminum alloy and it's much lighter than previous models.
That's going to help a lot with its payload and towing capability.
Absolutely.
We have several Ford trucks through the years, and this feels really nice.
Yeah, I bet it does. It's really obvious when you drive it. John, you not only have like great fishing, we had great fishing this morning. The Yamsi Ranch is also a working cattle ranch, right?
Correct, yes. Taking care of the cattle is one part of it. There's also a lot of equipment involved and mechanicking and the maintenance on the buildings and a lot of cutting firewood just to keep ourselves warm in the winter.
Right, right. Yeah, because you're pretty far out here. This is pretty cool.
That's a neat spot.
Look at that view. My gosh.
Yamsi means home of the north wind, and it's named after that mountain, Yamsi Mountain.
Piece of paradise, that's for sure.
The focus shifts from quantity to quality as John and Conway seek out one of the Williamson's trophy rainbows. But first, an opportunity to experiment with a unique fishing technique when the Outfitters returns. The fishing has been lights out on Oregon's Yamsi Ranch. So good that John and Conway break from the norm and plan to employ an entirely different approach to fly fishing.
So John, you ranch, you do the fly fishing operation, you do silversmithing, you do some timbering. How does that work into the family unit? So in other words, what's the family hierarchy?
Well, Mom still kind of oversees everything. She's the kind of the matriarch of the family. And then I'm probably considered the manager of the ranch. And my nephew Joe, he does a lot of the fencing and the cattle. He likes that part of it. And we all kind of will team up and do cattle work for one day or do whatever needs to be done for whenever it needs to be done, but it seems to all work.
We've had great luck on just standard fly fishing. But have you ever tenkara fished? I'm no expert at it, but I've done it a few times and I really enjoy catching trout on tenkara. It's a great system. I got you one here. You want to give it a shot?
Yeah.
So it's a telescopic rod, so it's a long rod, anywhere from 12 to 14 feet. And the cool thing is it's a fixed line, so you don't have the mechanical part of fly fishing where you have a reel. So you're basically connected to that fish immediately. But it's just a cool way to fish. It's like almost a primitive way to fish. It's almost like cane poling, I guess. And I think the river you have here would be pretty ideal for doing it. It was cool because John was willing to, go outside the traditional fly fishing box and give this a try. And the reason why is because we had such great fishing the day before. Why not? Why not go outside the box and give it a shot?
A zonker. I like my casting and casting a long ways to my fish. They're going to limit me to 15 feet of line and a long rod, so it'll be interesting. Before we started the fly fishing, we had a lot of trouble with trespassers.
That's a good fish.
It was a big game in Klamath to sneak into the hides and poach the water.
God, nice.
Most of the people we catch trespassing were fishing with worms. They were taking fish out in gunny sacks. We caught, one person had 65 fish in a gunny sack, another person had 150.
It's a cool tenkara fish right there. I mean, they're stacked up in there like crazy.
This river cannot stand that type of pressure on it.
Nice.
It's like a twin to yours. With the fly fish and the catch and release, nobody getting in there to poach it, it's really helped the fishery.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Longer arm. This is the hatchery for the whole upper Williamson River. These fish come up here and spawn, grow, and then they head downriver from here to the marsh.
I guess this tenkara thing kind of works, huh?
Yeah, it does. If we wouldn't have done the fly fishing, we wouldn't be here today. We would have gone broke many years ago. Our main income before was just the livestock part of it and some timber every 10 years or something. The cattle market is so volatile that at that time, Rainbow, the market was down and we were struggling. So the fishing has really worked out well for us.
We had a great morning. We caught lots of fish and decent sized fish, but I think the goal now would be to target big fish because the Williamson River on the Yamsi Ranch has very, very large fish. And when I'm talking large, fish over 20 inches. So we decided to go back to the same area we had the day previous. The very narrow part of the river, the upper part of the ranch where the spring bubbled up and the water was very clear, yet there were some very, very deep holes and undercut banks. So I was stoked. I mean, I was really pumped up to get some big fish.
Yes, yes. Nice rainbow.
So John mentioned the way to do this is to cover a lot of ground. So we weren't spending a lot of time in each hole. So it's 2 shots. Ooh, look at that.
Good.
Wow, what a fish.
That was cool.
2 casts, get out and keep moving, because we had to cover quite a bit of ranch land
Streamer.
where the river ran through. It was primarily using streamers and scud patterns.
Look at the colors on that. It's beautiful.
So cool. And just stacked up in this little part of the creek here.
Yeah.
And walking the bank and casting into log jams and undercut banks. I'm kind of liking this net man game here.
You're good at it.
Yeah. Former outfitter, you know. Never netted too many makos though. So the goal still for John and me was to get a big fish, because we had so much great success with medium-sized fish.
Nice, Brookie.
All right, dude, here we go. This is a big one. It's a big one. Big brookie. Look at that guy.
Oregon's Williamson River is well known in fly fishing circles as a trophy trout factory, but even on the private waters of the Yamsi Ranch, the big ones don't come easily.
It's a big one. Big brookie. Big brookie. Look at that guy. Holy smokes.
Need the net?
Oh my gosh. And the fly just came out of his mouth. So John and I decided to split up. That is a big brook trout. This is some really productive water, he said. He said the best approach would be to spread out. You know, try to tackle a really large fish. That was awesome. That was great. And it seemed like every one of those log jam areas and the hole that was kind of underneath that had all kinds of fish. And I'm not just talking small fish.
There we go. Nice fish. I was using an olive woolly booger with a scud behind it. Conway was using a zonker, white zonker. This section is right below the headwaters. This is the first part of the Williamson. And we've done quite a bit of work on it through the years, putting in channel construction and putting log structure in for the fish. A while ago, there wasn't a lot of fish up here, but with our habitat work, it's really full of a lot of big fish. Conway's got a really nice fish on. It's pretty exciting to come down here after all the work we've done and catch these big rainbows and brookies. Nice rainbow.
So the morning was tremendous. Not only seeing those fish, not only fishing water that I had never really fished before in terms of how calm it was. It exceeded my expectations. We caught big fish. I caught my biggest brookie.
Pretty fish.
Well, actually, I think my 3 biggest brookies ever. And the final fish was a really beautiful fish that I caught basically on the last cast. And to fish different water today than we had yesterday was really neat. I mean, water that was very slow moving.
Cool. That's a nice rainbow.
Deep undercut banks, and below the surface with streamers. It was really cool.
I have a lot of pride in this ranch, and when our guests come and can appreciate it and see what we can accomplish with just the family, it really hits you deep.
John and I caught some great fish. We worked hard. We went through some challenges and, you know, sneaking up on the fish and fishing very delicate water and spooky fish. I got some beautiful brook trout. John got a big rainbow, and ultimately, the best thing that happened is John got the biggest fish that he's gotten on the ranch all summer.
The last cast of the day, I caught a 24-inch beautiful rainbow.
To witness that, to be a part of that, to actually net that fish, it was tremendous.
Amazing fish, probably weighed 8 pounds. I was so excited, Conway was so excited. It was just a way to end a really nice fishing trip. I think spending the fishing time with Conway have made a really good friend. And we'll fish together again. We just had a great time together and really hit it off.
So the Yamsi Ranch is just One word, it's awesome. For someone who wants to come and do some dry fly fishing, to experience a very unique environment, a working cattle ranch, and a world-class spring creek. And, you know, honestly, the angling skill doesn't have to be so great. You can really be successful here with any angling skill because John is a great instructor and he will walk you through that.
That's not a bad fish.
And once John walks you through it for an hour, you're gonna be successful.
That's not a bad brookie.
No?
Look at that.
They're so pretty.
It's also a great place to bring your family, and this is a place I will bring my son on his first big trip with Dad to go trout fishing. You know, he'll be 6.
There you go.
And I'm gonna bring him here because it's not only about the fishing, it's about the experience, it's about the family atmosphere. And for me, that's what makes these sort of destinations just really special.